of it. Come compete for the prize money. 1010wins.com/pickleball.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning. We're at 68 degrees at 7:40 on this Thursday, September 19th. I'm Scott Stanford. Here's what's happening. New York City Council meeting today to discuss legislation that would expand the number of public bathrooms in the Big Apple. Several lawmakers set to rally before that oversight hearing. In the wake of our reports on the insane amount of crime and drugs and prostitution on Roosevelt Avenue in Queens, the NYPD takes down one of the biggest brothels on the avenue. Donald Trump lathers up a rowdy crowd at the Nassau Coliseum last night.
Vote for Donald Trump. What the hell do you have to lose? What do you have to lose?
Trump says if he's elected, he will fix New York. Photos and videos are up of the coward who slugged a 77-year-old woman in the face on the Upper West Side last Friday. Florida Everglades a little lighter in the Python department. The Florida Python Challenge is a wrap. The winner removed 20 Burmese pythons, grabbed himself 10 grand in the process. Checking sports, Yanks clinched their spot in the playoffs with a win in Seattle. Mets fleeced the Nats 10-zip. Eli Manning nominated for the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. Wins News Time, 7:41. Traffic and transit Thursday morning. We get you back out to Karen Stewart.
All right, let's check the Hudson, shall we? Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The inbound George is 40 for both the upper and the lower level. From the Palisades, it's about 20 to 25 minutes if you want to opt for that instead. Now, we are over an hour in at the Lincoln and Holland tunnels this morning. 60 plus, about 75 minutes an hour, 15 in at the Lincoln and in at the Holland tunnel. In New Jersey, we still have a vehicle fire on the northbound Parkway Express lanes, north of 120 for Lawrence Harbor. The vehicle fire, the remnants of it anyway, are over on the shoulder, and the earlier issues over in the local lanes with police activity, they have left, so things are obviously under control there. If you're traveling to Long Island and you're taking a trip out to Long Island's Big 3, expect delays westbound on the LIE approaching the Seaford Oyster Bay Expressway into Glen Cove Road, and from New Hyde Park Road to the Queens Line. We've got westbound Northern State delays from exit 29 out into 25, and the westbound side of the Southern State is a little bit slow from exit 24 out into exit 20 right now. LIRR, though, it's running on or close to schedule. We've got no problems to tell you about there. Traffic is sponsored by the New York Waterway Ferry. Want a better way to the city? Take the ferry from Port Imperial Weehawken. With indoor parking, fast, frequent, reliable ferries, and free shuttles throughout Manhattan, taking the ferry is simply the best way to New York. Visit nywaterway.com or call 1-800-53-FERRY. Our next report's in less than 10. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Hey, did you know this? There are only 2 public restrooms that are open 24/7 in all of New York City. 2. And only 1 public restroom per 7,500 residents in the Big Apple. Well, today, city lawmakers are going to rally and demand the expansion of public restrooms here in the city. It's been a huge issue. Glenn Schuck's got more for us this morning at City Hall.
The City Council considering 2 bills. One would provide some immediate relief, would allow the public to use bathrooms in public buildings like municipal buildings. Teddy Siegel runs the site Got to Go NYC.
And so I think we also need to be thinking more outside the box and maybe looking to what other countries are doing, because there are other countries that are way ahead of New York City and that are doing a way better job at this than we are. And I know, like in London, they have something called community toilet schemes where they give private establishments that make their bathrooms publicly accessible tax cuts.
I checked in with Kyle on this in Midtown.
Where do you go to the bathroom, I guess is the question. The city council is saying they need to address the issue. There's just nowhere to go. A lot of people are saying hold it.
That's what I would say. I'd hold it and go to a restaurant and go to...
The number of public bathrooms in the 5 boroughs really hasn't changed at all since the 1970s. Glenn Schuck, 1010 Wins, 92.3 FM, here at City Hall.
Hey, we told you yesterday about the craziness and crime going on over at Roosevelt Avenue in Queens. Drugs, prostitutes, illegal vendors, a real melting pot of deviance over there. Last night, the NYPD finally went in and took down one of the main brothels on Roosevelt Avenue. Former councilman and Queens District Leader Hiram Montserrat is grateful for the police response.
We're excited that we are getting strong response from the NYPD. We want that to continue. Clearly, there's a lot of work to be done. Our community is facing a crime wave.
Montserrat hoping the NYPD can do much more there on Roosevelt Avenue. He told our Glenn Schuck yesterday that Queens has more brothels than bodegas. And that's not really the slogan you want on your Chamber of Commerce tourism signs, is it? Wins News Time 7:45. Earlier this month, we were talking about that guy in Kentucky who was shooting people at random along one of the state's highways. The search for that shooter ended yesterday in the woods.
It was vultures that caught the eye of 2 Kentucky state troopers and 2 civilians who were searching for a suspect in the September 7th I-75 shootings near London, Kentucky that wounded 5 people. Kentucky State Police Commissioner Philip Burnett Jr. says the 4 followed the birds.
While they were in there, they began to detect a strong odor of what appeared to be a decomposing flesh, whether it could be animal or human.
Burnett says some articles associated with the body have convinced them that it is suspect Joseph Couch of Woodbine, Kentucky. Laurel County Sheriff John Root says people have been in fear.
So now that this has been discovered, I hope that our county can get back to what's normal.
That's Jennifer Kuiper reporting. Police say a weapon was found at the site, but there have been no details given about the cause of Couch's death. Big meth bust in Manhattan this week. Law enforcement agents reportedly catching up with 2 men from Pennsylvania who were traveling around with 110 pounds of meth. Street value, they say, $600,000. Police say it was a routine traffic stop when they busted 43-year-old Fernando Reyes and 41-year-old Raul Torres, both fellas coming in from Reading, Pennsylvania. DEA agents, along with New York Drug Enforcement, pulled the 2 over near West Street and Battery Place 3 days ago. Officials say they had the 2 large black duffel bags of meth in the back seat. Donald Trump with a campaign rally at Nassau Coliseum last night. Trump telling the rowdy crowd on Long Island, vote for me. What the heck you got to lose?
With your vote, we are going to rescue our country. We are going to rescue our Democrat-run states. We are going to start by saving the great state of New York. Is that good?
Today, the former president scheduled to give remarks on countering anti-Semitism to a group of prominent Jewish supporters down in D.C. As for the vice president's schedule,
Vice President Harris is back on the campaign trail again today, hitting the battleground state of Michigan. There, she will participate in a live stream event with Oprah Winfrey. On Friday, she will give remarks about abortion rights in Atlanta, Georgia, before doing a rally in Madison, Wisconsin. All of these are battleground states she needs to win in order to win the White House this November.
That's Aaron Navarro reporting. And how about this coming from the Teamsters? Their union, which represents over 1 million members, will not be endorsing either candidate this time around.
The Teamsters endorsed Hillary Clinton in 2016 and Joe Biden in 2020. But this year, union leaders say neither Kamala Harris nor Donald Trump made the commitments necessary to earn the Teamsters' formal endorsement. 2 rounds of internal polling showed most rank-and-file members favored Trump over Harris. But Teamsters President Sean O'Brien, who spoke at the Republican convention, said neither candidate is pledging not to intervene in possible strikes against railroads and airlines.
That's correspondent Steve in Portnoy. Well, they got one. Police are still looking for the other. Follow-up to yesterday's story about the guy and the girl who went for a joyride on an empty subway train before they crashed it. The young lady was all dressed in pink, wearing a shower cap. Well, she was arrested yesterday. She's only 17, so police haven't released her name. The guy she was with, still on the loose. The 2 jumped onto an empty train at the Briarwood station in Queens, somehow got it running and crashed it into another train. NYPD will soon be releasing the body cam footage from the Brooklyn subway shooting. Meanwhile, top officials are defending the officers' actions after they shot a man armed with a knife. And innocent bystanders were also hit.
It began when 37-year-old Darrell Mickles walked through the subway gate without paying the fare. Officers followed him up to the platform. Mickles and the officers got on a train, then got off. Here's Deputy Commissioner Kaz Daughtry.
Before he deployed the taser, it's important to note that he told the suspect to drop the knife. 38 times he said to drop the weapon.
The taser didn't work. Mickles came at the officers and was shot. Chief of Patrol John Schell says this was about someone in mental stress, armed with a deadly weapon, and protecting cops and citizens.
This incident was not about fare evasion.
A man and a woman on the train were hit by police gunfire. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM at police headquarters.
Connection, opportunity, possibility. It's what we want.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this quick snippet of today's news. Remember, the mission is to record the news for historical purposes. We'll see you on the next episode.